Hello, my name is Kimberley Gallagher. This is the first Q&A hosted on YouTube. I'm really excited to be here. It's also on a podcast too, so if you're listening to that, hello over there. So just to let you know how this works. So I am the very proud owner of the Feng Shui Flow, and on Instagram, I'm at the Feng Shui Flow. Every Sunday, I post on my stories a question box, and you can put whatever questions you like in there, whether that's Feng Shui, life, manifestation, whatever you want to be nosy about, and I will come on and answer them on a Monday. I'm now going to be doing this every Monday on YouTube, and it is lovely to be here. So I've got the questions by the side of me here, and I can't wait to start. So the first one is lovely. It starts off by saying, no questions, just love everything that you do. Thank you. My life has completely changed since Feng Shui came into it. 6 years ago, I was a teacher. I was made redundant as a teacher in the UK, and here I am in Australia as a Feng Shui expert, and I get to help thousands of people around the world with what I do. So to say that life has changed is the biggest understatement, and I truly believe that, I'm so blessed in what I do that to give back my knowledge is the very least that I can do. So it's amazing to be here. Okay, so question. I have adult children living with me and I would like to help my daughter get a job. So in Feng Shui, we divide the home into 9 different areas, and each of these areas represents an area of our life. It looks after every single person in that space. If your kids live outside of your home, it won't be able to look after them. It can help them a little bit, but really it's all about the energy that you are surrounded by. Having that energy work for you will help everybody in the home. So you need to concentrate on the north area of the home. This is your career, your business, everyone's career and business, whether it's yours or whether it's your daughter's. So you could ask her to maybe write an affirmation. What is it that she really wants? I would also look into her bedroom. How is that? Does it spark life and energy, or is it quite dull? So you want to be changing that area around her, but definitely the north area of the home. Underneath this on YouTube and underneath the podcast, there is going to be all the links that you will need, whether it's where to start in Feng Shui, whether it's for my upcoming course for the Lionsgate portal. Everything is going to be below here, so you might want to have a look on there. Best pre-moving rituals, or best pre-moving into new home rituals. So I have actually spoken to my amazing team. We're going to put together an ebook of selling your home and moving into a new home, because every week I get asked this, which is just amazing. So when you move into a new home, that home is going to have the energy of the other people that lived there, whether they had relationship problems, whether they had the best relationship ever. It just absorbs that energy, and it works at a frequency, and it gets used to that frequency of that other family. So when you come in, quite often when you move into a new home, the home is like, oh, who are you? This feels different, and it can take time to settle. Now, what you'd hope is after 3 or 4 months that you settle in and everything is great. Our home here, we moved into here in September, and please don't get me wrong, it is our dream home. We absolutely love it. But I smile because it's a spicy home. It took me as a Feng Shui expert 4 months to start to feel a difference in the energy, and I put all of my powers into it. I put so many powers into it that I even created a new course teaching people how to do what I do, because it was another level of stubbornness, is all I'm going to say. So it may be that after 3 or 4 months, you've moved into your home and you go, do you know what? We're arguing, I can't sleep, there's health issues, I just feel like I'm on edge. Then that's where I can help. I work remotely, I offer home analyses, I do it on the 1st of every month, and you can book me and I can analyze the energy in your home, but most importantly, tell you how to balance it. So when you first move in, it's almost like you need to put a stamp on that home to say, this is who we are. And it's like starting a relationship with somebody new. You want to build that relationship up. So you want to introduce yourself. Say hi to the home. This is who we are. Please look after us, whatever you've been through before, because it will, you know, it's a bit of a change for that house. It's been through a lot, like packing up the boxes, saying goodbye. Like, it's almost like in a bit of grief. And I know that sounds mad. And don't get me wrong, if you told me that 6 years ago, that your house is going to grieve when people leave, I'll be like, are you joking? But it really does have an energy. So introduce yourself to it. Only take stuff with you that deserves to be there with you. Don't just take stuff with you from your old home because you haven't got around to clearing it. So that's the first thing. Introduce yourself to your home. Make sure you deep clean it. And I know people do anyway, but deep clean it with TLC, not just oh my gosh, I can't believe the old tenants like left it like this. Like, go through and be like, you deserve some TLC. I'm doing this because I know you want to be looked after. So just start to introduce yourself that way, and then you can start to incorporate all the other Feng Shui bits as well. Which area to focus on when boredom creeps into all areas of life? I feel restless. So when this is all areas of life, I think it's your whole home. And some homes have this energy that just is dull. So when I analyze a home, I use this number combination. It looks like a giant game of Sudoku. It's actually, you know, a Chinese formula that's been used for over 4,000 years. So I don't want to dismiss it by saying it's, you know, Sudoku, but each of the areas of your home, each of these 9 areas gives me an energy combination. And each of these numbers has almost like a personality. It has an energy that it brings. Some homes have combinations that are heavy, that are dull, that feel like you've got the weight of your world on your shoulder. And no matter what you do, that is just that energy blueprint of the home. So what I would do is see what you can do yourself. If it doesn't change, then that's where I can come in. So all of these tips on here in my book, which is called The Calm and Happy Home, all on the podcast, they're all tips that you can try yourself. And for some homes, they work. There are people who clean their stoves and they win the lottery. Like, my homes have never allowed me to do that. So I would just, I think a really key part actually, when you've lost that motivation, last week's podcast is a really good one. And it's called Doing It for the Girls. That's a great place to start. But start in your wardrobe, because your wardrobe is where you start your day. Your bedroom is where you start your day. You want to look in your wardrobe and feel like revitalized when you look at the clothes. And I'm not saying that you need to have a wardrobe full of expensive clothes. You don't. But wear stuff that lights you up. I feel more energized when I wear white. So therefore, I always say 24. I don't know why I keep saying 24. I've got a lot of white t-shirts, not expensive ones, you know, Zara, Seed, all of these shops, but I wear it because I feel lighter and brighter. So start in your bedroom. Does it matter where you buy your crystals from, or are Amazon fine? Now, I'm not saying that people on Amazon aren't legit, but there are fake crystals out there. So the way that I just wouldn't buy them on Amazon. I'm not, you know, I'm sure there's some legitimate places on Amazon. In the UK, I really like Canny Crystals, Canny. Mart, I've worked with a lot. I've got a lot of my crystals from him. Over in Australia, we've got Crystal Castle over at Byron. They're really good as well. And also a company called the Himalayan Salt Company, which is in the Gold Coast as well. So I prefer to get them from legitimate crystal dealers, basically crystal shops. The southeast is the laundry of the new place. I'm thinking good laundry bins with lids. So the southeast looks after your wealth, prosperity and abundance. Most homes will have an area of the home that isn't ideal. So the southeast in your laundry area is a bit of like there's just lots of cleansing need to be done, and you don't want to sort of put your dirty laundry into your wealth area. So yes, laundry bins with lids on. Try and keep it as neat as you possibly can. So our laundry is in, I mean, I say it like it's normal. Like, I've never had a laundry before until we moved. Like, I'm so excited about having a laundry, but that's in the south area of my home downstairs, which looks after like visibility and reputation and sort of getting yourself out there. So of course, doing what I do, I want to be out there and I want to be putting myself out there. So I just try and keep on top of the washing. I don't iron, I steam, but I do it with love, with TLC. I try and keep the cabinets all like together. So yes, laundry bins with lids on, and just try and keep on top of it if you can. Is it okay to keep photos on display of deceased family in the west area of the home? Yeah, I think strict Feng Shui, and this is why I just think with Feng Shui, you take what you want from it. And Feng Shui is all about life and energy in the home. And you may find some more strict Feng Shui practitioners. In fact, somebody came to me and they said, I've got pictures of my husband, who's passed away, and I've got his ashes and I don't want to get rid of them. That is absolutely fine. If it brings you comfort and peace, then it's totally fine, in my opinion. The west area of your home looks after new beginnings. So I would say it might not be the best area, but it depends on your environment in your home. Because if the west is like your living room, then of course that makes sense. The east is your family and community, so that would be ideal. But if the east is your downstairs toilet, you're probably not want to have them there. So put them where your heart brings you joy. So I've got a picture of my mum. She looks over me over here, and that isn't in the east, but it works. It's lovely, and it means something to me. Hi, lovely. I've had a bout of vertigo. Any area of the home I should concentrate on. So the thing with vertigo is that it can be caused by so many different things. I know somebody who had it, and actually it was like an ear infection. So, but I would, if it's you specifically, I would look at your bedroom, because I also think that a lot of it comes from rest and tiredness. And also vertigo, if you didn't know, is a symptom of perimenopause as well. I mean, let's just put 3,000 symptoms of perimenopause, that shoulder strain and, vertigo, but it is a symptom of perimenopause. So just to look into that. But I would look after your bedroom, where you spend the most amount of time, and just make sure that you're getting rest first. I think that's the most important thing. How do you start Feng Shui without the overwhelming feeling to try everything? So I am a now person. I want to do everything all in one go, and I don't want to wait. With that, I can get really overwhelmed. And that's not the point of Feng Shui. The point of Feng Shui is to enjoy life, to take it in your stride and to make the most of it, and not to be a now person. So start with the areas that you spend the most time in. Start with your bedroom. Start with your wardrobe. Literally just break it down. And even just doing 15 minutes a day of decluttering, of tidying. I'm not somebody that has a mad clean on a Saturday morning, but I'll go and put something on my bookshelf and I'll be like, oh my goodness, that's really dirty. That is really bad Feng Shui, really dusty. We don't have cleaning, we don't have help around the house. And so I can't keep on top of it. So I just do what I can. So just whatever you can do within 15 minutes every day or once a week, whatever it is, just break it down to that. Also, in the Lionsgate portal course that I've got coming up, it starts on the 4th of August. I can't wait. This brings together this 3-step formula to receiving miracles. It's the manifestation 3-step formula. And within that, we look at the home. The home is so important. I thought I was rubbish at manifesting until Feng Shui came into my life, because it's the missing piece. If your home isn't supporting you, then you're not going to thrive in life. So maybe joining the course might be a good thing. It's a 5-day course, 5 videos, 30 minutes each. And every day I give you something very specific, but totally achievable to work on. Can you do a podcast on crystals in the home, please? There's actually a chapter in my book all about crystals and where to place them in the book. So that has to stay on there. There's certain contractual things with my book that I can do or can't do. So if you want to know about the crystals and their placement, then that is in my book. It's called The Calm and Happy Home, and you can get it on Amazon or in bookshops as well all around the world, which is pretty cool. It was a #1 bestseller, don't you know, around the world. We just bought a new old 1960s home, which is the best podcast episode for me. I think just going back to what I mentioned at the beginning of this about what to do when you move into the home, and I'm going to be creating this ebook, and hopefully we'll have it out in a couple of weeks, so it should be ready very, very soon. The wealth area is in my lovely laundry. Oh, how funny, 2 of you. Yay or nay for my wealth bowl. So a wealth bowl is like a glass vase, and in that you've got maybe a crystal, I say glass vase, like a glass candle holder. You've got a crystal, some money, an affirmation. Put it on a mirrored tray, you know, like the mirrored coasters that you put your candles on top of. And that lives in the southeast of your home because that looks after wealth. No matter what area of your home this is, that is your wealth. So yes, put it in the laundry, but going back to what I spoke about earlier in terms of like looking after your laundry, keeping it as, you know, hotel pristine clean as possible, then yes, still put it in there. No question, just super excited for the Lionsgate portal course. Thank you. I honestly can't wait. I think we've got over 350 people enrolled now in the course. We start on the 4th of August. It's all achievable, attainable. It's not overwhelming, but it's all about being able to receive what it is that we're putting out there, because we can all say, oh, may a G-Wagon land on my driveway. And I know I use that every single week, but you know, here's hoping. It's not going to happen because, you know, I don't believe that one is just going to land on the driveway, but I need to be open to receiving these miracles from other places. So that's what it is about, and I can't wait. I'm so excited. What type of artworks are good for various areas in the home? So I talk about this in my book as well. So you can match these 9 areas of your home, and the download for the 9 areas will be available below. And each of these areas, then you can use it as almost like your vision board in life. So the north is your career. What would represent your career to you? So actually this picture behind me in the office is called Halo, and I almost feel it's like angels looking after me. So rather than just putting up random pieces, link these 9 areas of your home to the artwork and just say, do they represent this sort of thing? So these flowers aren't necessarily representing the area of my home that my office is in, but I love to be around it. So it's just about being surrounded by things that bring you joy and happiness, and not just filling your wall space. Laundry, bathroom and toilet doors, all in a triangle, all closed. Yeah, so these are waste areas in Feng Shui. So this is where your energy is just being wasted, or it's being cleansed. Just like we go and have a shower, it's cleansing that energy away, and we need that energy to go. But what we don't want is for it to pull the energy from the house and throw it down the toilet. So we want to put a blockade in, keep those doors closed. No settlement finished. How do I find myself again? I'm not sure what that means. Sorry. Love having you in my life. Every time I hear your voice, it's so uplifting and brings me back on track. Thank you. I really try. Like I share the shiny and the not so shiny stuff, especially on my Instagram and my podcast as well, because, you know, life has many twists and turns, and I just want to share everything that I've been through with you, and just hopefully it gives you a bit of hope. So thank you for hanging out with me. Honestly, I feel so lucky. Overwhelmed about the Lionsgate portal and don't want to miss it. How do I start? So just, if you don't know what to do, join the course. There's nothing. So yes, there are things that you can do in preparation, but if that is too overwhelming, just ignore everything, ignore my Instagram, and just go, right, I'm turning up on the 4th, clean slate, this is what I'm doing. And everything that I do in the day is purposefully not overwhelming. Like, I was a teacher for 10 years. These courses are put together. It's called pedagogical structure, which is the theory of teaching. So I make sure that absolutely everything is achievable. Otherwise, people won't do the course. My candles don't seem to be burning properly. Is it? Oh, it's like they're not getting enough air. So that is telling you that the energy in your home is stagnant. When flames go like crackly, that means that the energy is a bit all over the place. Like the flame of your candle will tell you a lot about the energy in the home. So you need to just bring in some fresh energy into your home. If you only had 2 weeks to visit Australia, what would your trip and locations look like? I love the variants of these questions. I would definitely go to Sydney. Like, you have to see Sydney. Perth is also beautiful. It depends where you're coming from. I think Sydney is amazing as a city. Obviously the Gold Coast where we are is incredible as well. I think if you could do Uluru, you know, I would do that as well. The Great Barrier Reef, if you can. This is where, and I don't love AI a lot, but planning trips, AI is amazing. We did a road trip from here to Newcastle, and I said, right, we're going with two 40 or two 13-year-old girls. Where do we need to go? Where do we need to stop? And it literally gave us the most amazing itinerary. So it depends what you're into. If you're into more cultural stuff or staying in the outback or more ocean, like there's lots of things to do. But I would, like for me, Sydney is really special to see the Opera House and the bridge. Like it really is beautiful. I'm ready to call in my next home. That is so amazing. I will put the link of the podcast in the show notes to the podcast that I did about moving home. And even if you're not ready, like even if your home isn't for sale yet, it's all about using the west area of your home. So the west is your new beginnings area. So this is where you could maybe write down like a wish list of what you'd like from your home. Maybe you know exactly what your home is like. You can activate this area as well. So if you feel that the west of your home is like just lacking a bit of energy, you can get a sun catcher, which is like those little crystals or like glass sort of ornaments that are on almost like a, not a key ring, but you know what I mean? And you can hook it over like the window frame or something, and what happens is when that light comes in, it activates it, and you then see this lovely shiny sort of energy all around the room. So the west is where you want to concentrate on. A Bali retreat, yes please, when and where? Oh my goodness, wouldn't that be amazing? I've been talking about wanting to do some retreats around the world, so again, I'm just throwing it out there. Show me how it is possible to do retreats around the world. I mean, how good would a Bali retreat be? Oh my gosh, it literally makes me giddy with excitement. Planning on doing an extension to the house, which area of the house to focus on for all to go well? I think it depends on where the extension is going, what walls you're knocking down. So I would concentrate on those walls, but just in general, just talk to your home in general. You could also, in the southeast, you want to sort of lock in your money as well so that it doesn't, you know, cost you an absolute fortune. But I would concentrate most on where that work is going to be. And like when I had the doors fitted in my office, I put my hand on the wall and I was like, it's going to be okay. We're going to have some work done, but it's for the greater good and it's all going to be okay. And you just sort of let that energy of the renovation just come and go. Like it is what it is. There isn't that much that you can do, but I'd concentrate on where it is. I put an analysis question on Instagram for you. Where is the correct place to do this? So if you've had an analysis with me, just reply to the email that I sent you the analysis on. I love to collect shells on my beach walks. I display them in my home in a jar. Is this okay? So shells are the earth element. And I'm not going to tell you like don't have shells in your home, because some people love shells and that's fine. And it's the same with crystals. Like everyone has, like, not everyone, but you know, people tend to have like a little collection of crystals. The earth element can slow things down. So if we don't know the energy in your home, you could be putting a lot of earth in an area that is already quite heavy, and therefore it's slowing things down. So just have a think about where these shells are. Find this area of your home, like the 9 areas of your home, and go, okay, is this area of my life feeling slow? So say, for example, you've got the shells in your southeast area of your home, which is wealth, prosperity, and abundance, and you feel that your wealth is slow, then I would move it out. So it's almost like, you almost have to be like a house GP, and like just keep taking these little hints and putting it all together and go, okay, like what's happening, what's helping, what's not helping. What is the meaning of elephants in Feng Shui? Where and when to use them, and if they have to face one another? So there's different meanings for them. They can be protection, or they can be like to ward off. I think whatever you have, it's really important that you resonate with them. So I love elephants. And yes, there is a, you know, the trunk up is like, you know, one thing, and the trunk down is like a different thing. But it's how you feel when you see them. Because for me, there's no point having elephants at the entrance of your home if you don't believe in what it's doing. So for me, you've got to resonate with whatever you do. Some people sprinkle cinnamon in their home, some people put salt, some people do the 9 lemons, like whatever it is, you have got to resonate with it. I'm in Australia next week from the UK, How exciting. Welcome. Can I still do the course remotely, and does it have to be done on the 5 consecutive days? So this is the Lionsgate portal course, and the videos are going to be live for 30 days. Yes, it's the most powerful time at that moment in time. And if you could spare half an hour just to watch the videos, just so that you can get your mind into thinking what it is, but we have 30 days of those videos being live that you can then do it in your own time. Can one spiky plant outside the front of your house cause arguments? Thank you, lovely lady. So one plant isn't going to throw the whole energy of the home, but it could, depending on how, as I say, like my home, depending on how spicy your home is. So I am so careful to the point where we've got some old towels that are like hot pink, which is the fire element. And I know where I need, for example, water. I wouldn't put those towels to dry because I know that those towels will put out that water, and I know that the energy in our home will change. So our home has taught me so much about being really aware of what we have in the house. Our last house was fine. It was quite solid. Like within a month of the remedies going in, everything was fine. Everything was flowing. Moved here and it was like, I'm going to put you to the test now. So I know if I put a spiky plant, like, sorry house, I do love you. If I put a spiky plant outside the front of ours, I would presume that we'd feel the energy in the home. So it depends on your home. But also, I wouldn't go ripping it up. Like, there's other things that you can look at first. Do you have to get the Lionsgate portal list done before the course starts, please? Struggling with overwhelm. So no, and I've mentioned this just before, like you don't, there's almost like two groups of people. One loves to like overly prepare and be ready. And then there's another group that's like, I'll just turn up and I'll do it. I'm definitely more of a turn up and do it because I am there to guide you. The list of 20 things that I posted was more for people who couldn't do the Lionsgate course. So therefore I've given a free list of things that people can do in preparation for it. So if I were you, if you're feeling overwhelmed, don't worry, I'm going to guide you all the way through it. I'm lacking motivation all the time. I can see clutter that I could work on, but I have no energy to do it. So start small, start in your wardrobe, start with what you're going to wear on the day. Like for me, like I said earlier, wearing something bright, putting my makeup on, doing my hair, putting my perfume on. My perfume's like my coat of armor. Like I'm like, yes, I can take on the world. Like all of that stuff gives me that motivation. I also listen to podcasts. I think I keep a lot of you company whilst you are all cleaning, but listen to a podcast whilst you're doing it and going, right, for the length of this podcast, normally like half an hour, 20 minutes, I'm going to just sort out my wardrobe. Like timers for me have been a game changer. I'm not very good at concentrating, so I set 45-minute timers for me to do things. And then after that 45 minutes, I'm like, right, I can get up, I can go make a coffee, or I can go outside, or I can go and, have a snack or whatever. So having timers for me really helps. Apart from clearing clutter, which I know I should do, anything I can do in the home to reduce overwhelm, just make sure that you are putting in your own circuit breaker as well. And I speak about this on my emails recently. Your own circuit breaker, like we get so caught up in this immediate thing that we have to do in life. Like we get up and this is our routine. We get up, we have a shower, we get ready, we come down, we do breakfast, we go to work. And for a long time, I told myself that I didn't have time to exercise, which is ridiculous because you can always fit it in. And just 5 minutes of doing something for you. I've got a morning magic playlist that I play in the morning. Like even that is such an important thing to do. So just whatever your circuit breaker is, make sure that you do it because that will reduce your overwhelm and allow yourself to rest. I think we come from a generation where rest is seen as being lazy, and I can tell you now it's absolutely not. How to improve family relationships using Feng Shui. So If it's family relationships inside of the house, this is what will happen if the energy in your home isn't great. The relationships in the home will start to break down. Sometimes it's not massive arguments. Sometimes it's just that you've lost that connection because the energy isn't helping you all interact with each other. So this comes back to the basics of refreshing the energy in your home, opening the doors, letting the good energy in through the front door, letting the bad energy out through the back door. If you live in an apartment, your Feng Shui front door is your balcony door or your view door, like the biggest window of your apartment. That's your front door. So whatever your front door is, open it. Good energy is in. The back door lets bad energy out. So actually let your bad energy out first, then let your good energy in. Making sure that you haven't just kept hold of stuff because you haven't got we pay so much to be in our homes, whether we're renting it or whether we're living in it. Make sure that what you are surrounded by has a purpose and brings you joy and happiness. That's the biggest thing. So making sure that that energy can actually flow around the home. It's the summer holidays here and my boys are constantly fighting. Please help. So that's in the UK, and I know the kids are broken up for school. It does take about a week or two of like norming, and this is nothing to do with Feng Shui, but the kids to come out of that routine because they've got a new routine. And I still find that but it takes a couple of weeks just to get rid of all of that pent up energy from school, and then things start to settle again. But in the home, just again, making sure that the clutter isn't like building up, that the air is circulating, that their bedrooms are circulating, that the technology isn't sort of like leaking into their bedrooms as much. Like, have they got somewhere to store their like computers and things away so that they're getting enough rest? So it's almost like coming back to like, okay, like what is it that's causing the arguments? Is it maybe lack of sleep? Is it overstimulation? Is it the TV, the iPads? Like what is it? But it will take a couple of weeks for everybody just to sort of settle after the school is in. Where in the home would you put or not put incense sticks? Are there non-smoky ones? So I just got some new ones from Gentle Habits and they're really nice. And I've got Bondi Beach ones here, and these are really lovely ones, but the incense will always smoke a little bit. But these, I don't know if they're non-toxic, but they're definitely not as toxic as other ones. So this flavor is sea salt, grapefruit and cardamom. They're really, really lovely. So Gentle Habits are really nice ones to have. I bought a jacuzzi for the garden. The garden is southwest facing. My front door at the side is south. So you would just not want, if you could choose where not to have water, it would be the south. Because in cycle 9 that we're in at the moment, the energy is fire and it's coming in through the south of our home. So if you've got a big body of water in the south, that is going to put out the water, the water is going to put out that fire energy becomes in. So I would just try and avoid the south if you can. I don't have a house plan I rent. I do love it and would like to Feng Shui areas. Where should I start? So you can walk out your floor plan. So literally get some maths paper, like grid paper, where it's like the little squares, and get your feet and go 1 foot in front of the other. And each of those feet would be a square on that grid paper. And that is how you can then map out your floor plan. We are getting a puppy. How exciting. Will that add positive energy? Her bed is in the center of the home. Yeah, so funny enough, so cats are meant to be bad Feng Shui, which I think is terrible. But in general, like pets are good Feng Shui. They bring a good energy into the home. They are almost like the biggest tellers of energy in your home. And when the energy is calm, the pets are calm. When energy isn't great, then the pets can tend to be like really hard to train. But I would just try and make sure that your dog has got the command position, which means that their back is against a solid wall and they've got a view of everything. So like Snoopy's like tucked up in the corner, so his bed's like here and he can then see everything, and it just helps with their anxiety. My front door is black and faces the north, northwest. What can I do to help bring in good energy? So in terms of colours of your doors, I offer that as a service in the Map My Home and also in the analysis as well. I find out what element your home is. So if you want to look at that, my booking's open on the 1st of the month and my website will be linked below, whether you listen to this on the podcast or on YouTube. Please tell us more about astrology readings and why you find them beneficial. So I never used to have astrology readings. until through David the Medium. If you don't know him, you can look him on Instagram. He then saw who I call astrologer Luke. And I'd not had a proper astrology reading until I spoke with Luke. And what I found really interesting, you can decide whether you live and die by it. I wouldn't say I live and die by it, but it's just really interesting to know, for me, when is a time to step back because things may be happening, and when is a time to go. So at the beginning of the year, Luke said to me, like, the first start of the year is going to be a bit stuttery for you. The energy for you is going to be a bit come July, that's when things are, like come June, July, that's when things are really going to take off. And interestingly, and I think my podcast episode on Friday will be more about that. Interestingly, today, I just reached 200,000 followers on Instagram, which is just, it's so incredible for so many reasons. And I'll go into it more on Friday. And I'm so grateful because when I first started this, I was so worried about whether people would listen to me. And it means so much that so many of you want to follow me and want to follow, what I've got to share, which is amazing. But I've been almost at this point, just coming back to what Luke said, this point of like being quite stagnant in my growth. And now it just feels like the doors are sort of fully opening. So it's almost like it's giving you permission to sit back and then it opens again. So that's how I like it. It's not for everyone though. Can I keep my fruit bowl in the center of my home? Yep, totally fine. Just watch with fruit though, you don't want them to go bad. That's the only thing. So like with bananas, as soon as they start to go brown, I wouldn't then have them on there. How would you deal with chipped crockery? Am I right that it's bad Feng Shui? Yeah, so anything chipped or cracked, it's almost like you've got this lovely stream coming through, and that's like the energy coming through your home. As soon as you throw like a boulder in there, then the energy, like it ripples on the water, and then the energy has to go, like all the way around it. That's the same with anything that is chipped or cracked or broken in your home. It causes this sharpness in the energy. So yeah, it's not great Feng Shui. What's the best thing to do when you wake up? The most simplest thing is to go, show me how good today can get. Like, I love starting the day like that because it instantly puts you in a good mood and it instantly opens you up to like this life of possibility, which is really exciting. Life is stuck, plans, goals, everything great, then bang, brick wall, I need something to change. So this is where the analysis will really help. So since Feng Shui has come into my life, like, don't get me wrong, there has been some curveballs, some quite big clangers, but actually they've turned out to be amazing things. And so when you analyze this could be the energy in your home that is stuck. So therefore having an analysis is just going to clear this energy. It's going to get rid of these blocks. It's going to clear this stagnant energy so that you've got more of a flow into your life, the right people, the right opportunities, the money, like it's just this lovely flow. It can't stop the rubbish stuff happening though. That's what I'm going to say. But you feel supported when things don't necessarily go to plan. Where to store husband's work clothes and boots. Try a little storage or shed. You can have them in the house, that's fine, but just put them away. Like anything work related, just put them away. So shoes, boots, in a box with a lid on. Your wardrobe, put it in a side where you actually put it away, just not having it out and about, especially if you don't like work. Like don't have your work bag waiting to go at your front door, like the kids' school bags at the door waiting to go, because otherwise then you mentally never switch off. My home is calm and easy and relaxed, but I feel unmotivated and tired. Thank you. So this tells me that your home is almost too calm and easy, and it's about finding that next level up, because actually when it's lacking, so we've got this yin and yang energy, which is, this balance of yin is the dim energy, the slower energy, the yang is this effervescence, and what we want the home to have is this mixture. So you want your bedroom to have a yin feeling. You want it to be, quiet and relaxing. You want the kitchen to be slightly more yang, like you want this motivation in it. So it may be that you just need some more oomph in these areas of life. So if you feel that your bedroom needs like a clear out, a good motivator, but again, the analysis here might help if you just want that fine tuning of energy. Hi Kimberly, when you travel, are you ever worried that customs would take your crystals off you? It's a low-key fear of mine. No, but I'm more worried that I'm going to lose them because my moldavite has got a history of going missing, and crystals do. I also broke two in Singapore airport. My tiger's eye like rolled through duty free and I had to like run after it. So it's more that I lose them. So just don't take your amazing ones with you. Like take these little, I haven't got any on my desk, like take some palm stones with you and have your own like travel set maybe. What did you think was your biggest disappointment that was actually your biggest blessing? Well, that's a good question. Being made redundant. There's so many. Being made redundant as a teacher, thinking that was the worst thing that had happened, because that's what I did. I was a teacher for 10 years and I didn't have another career to go to. But if I hadn't have been made redundant, then I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. Also, what I would say is, in hindsight, I think my book was turned down by about 25 different publishers. And I actually, in hindsight, don't think that was a bad thing, because it is a much better book for it. There was much more experience, many more homes that I'd analysed, life experience, moving to Australia, like all of it that wouldn't have been in it had I got my first yes. So there we go. Is it easy to think of what to talk about on your podcast every week? Do you know what? I don't actually think about it until I work on my intuition. So everybody's different. And I work with a lovely lady called Ali Mortimer, who's a human design expert. And she was amazing at telling me how my body worked. And I'm a manifesting generator, but also we have these different, I don't know too much. She just tells me what I need to know. So sorry to all human design experts out there. You have certain numbers and channels of energy in you. And a big one for me is my intuition. So I'm not very good at planning, which growing up was you're disorganized, you're lazy, you're all of this. Whereas I'm like, well, put me in the moment and I can go. So I don't actually think about the topic until I'm sat down and ready to record. I'll make some notes, and then quite often I would just talk from my heart. So that's how I work, but it's different for everybody. Please, can you share your Lionsgate invite link with me? Yes, I will keep posting it on my stories. I'll pop it below this and I'll put it on the podcast as well. I'm so excited. It's going to be amazing. Did you ever have moments of doubt about Feng Shui, or were you convinced from the off? I was convinced from the off. Like, I say that when I first read about Feng Shui, I thought it was a load of rubbish. In fact, I listened to a podcast. Then I did some research and I was like, hang on a minute. Some of the world's most successful people follow an element of Feng Shui. Like, there must be something in it. Something doesn't last 4,000 years if there isn't some truth in it. So actually it was more like, I'm open to seeing, I almost like tested like, what's the worst that can happen? And then as it happened, it changed my life. And therefore I have absolutely no wavering doubt at all now. Where is the best place to keep positive pregnancy tests, the hospital wristbands after the baby is born? Wherever you feel right. Can you put it in the child's bedroom maybe? Completely up to you. That's I guess, the West is children and fertility, so you can keep it there. Large front face windows, okay to have mirrors on the opposite wall. It reflects the big trees. I wouldn't, because when you've got mirrors, you've got this lovely energy coming in through the window, and then that mirror is just going to ping it right out. So yes, you might see the lovely trees, but you want that energy to stay. That's most important. My wealth tray is underneath a small table with open sides. Does this block the flow? Yes, you want this you want to be out and proud. Like, don't hide away from the fact that you are welcome to receiving all the wealth miracles out there. Like, if you're hiding it, it's like going, oh, well, I would quite like to be a little bit more wealthy, but I don't really want to shout about it. Shout about it. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? My doors are starting to squeak. Is my house trying to say something? Thank you. So it could be that does it just feel tired? Does everything just feel tired? And it might be your house going, can you just give me a bit of a hand? Like, can you just help me, please? So I would just see how the rest of your home feels. How did you find your first client? On Instagram. My whole business was built around Instagram, which is why I will be forever grateful for the platform. Yes, it was scary. Did I panic every time I went to do a reel? Yes, absolutely. But, it's such an amazing marketing tool for your business. Because at any one time, there's something like 2 billion people on Instagram. Like, there is no other place where more people are hanging around. So yeah, all on Instagram. How do you know which is your front and back of your house, for example, roadside or waterside? So I would know this when I work with you if we're mapping or if I'm doing a home analysis. The best way to explain it is, where is the face of your home? So where has got the most personality? If you look over water, it's more likely that the open side of your home, so the more open side of your home is likely to be the Feng Shui facing of your home. What if you don't enter through your front door, but always through your garage door to your home? So we have a garage door entry, and it's not great Feng Shui. You want to be using your front door as much as possible, because this is where new opportunities come into your home. So if you have a garage door, fine, use it. But then every day, stand at your front door and go, I welcome all the opportunities that bring me health, wealth, success, and happiness. And so that's what I do. Trying to map my work area, it is square, but there is a random long thin corridor in the stock room down the back that aligns with an apartment in the building and not the work area. Does this mean I'm missing sections of Feng Shui, or could I cut off that area when mapping? I would just cut it off. Without having a look at it, I would just cut it off. I have a chipped gua sha I use every day. Should I still be using it or throwing it out? I don't, if you can, get a new one, because you deserve a new one. Did a wardrobe declutter. How do I remove the energy from the clothes before donating? I just let them sit for a little bit, like have them in your bin bags, just let them sit in the garage and then take them on there. But they're always going to be carrying energy, because then they'll get the energy from the charity shop and whatever. So I see it as almost a responsibility of the person bringing the clothes in to cleanse them before they let them into their home. I would love for my son to meet a new partner. How can Feng Shui help him? So this would be if they live in your home, then you have more of a say in it. But you need to be careful here, because what you don't want is to use the southwest of your home, which is love and romance, to be like, oh, I want to attract a new partner. You need to be very careful, because that may then impact your relationship. So I would write it for him and be very clear that it is for him. I love this. So drinking coffee, champagne, etc. is positively okay in Feng Shui. Well, I say it is. I love a champagne and I love a coffee, and it makes me happy. So therefore, it's a yes from me. Struggling with confidence at times while setting up working from home. Any suggestions? Look, it's there. Everybody has this doubt. And there's an amazing book called Big Magic. And she talks about, I can't remember the author, Barbara, maybe I might have made that up. She talks about almost having this car full of people, and each of these people brings something else. One is confidence, another person might bring, creativity, for example, but another one is fear, another one is imposter syndrome. And you've just got to decide who you let drive. So yes, fear is always going to be with you. It always will, to some extent, but just don't let fear drive you. They can go in the boot, in the trunk, whatever. Let positivity and creativity drive the car, not fear. What's the best area for medicine and first aid to be kept? Anywhere apart from the centre. The centre is your health, so then it sort of could bring like a self-fulfilling prophecy, so anywhere apart from the centre. Feeling stuck in business and finances, where do I start? I love your book, thank you so much. I would look in the southeast and the north. That's where you need to unblock that energy. But if you feel that it's very apparent that the money in your home is impacting the money that's coming in and your business, it may be then that you need to lean into the analysis. I use my back door more than my front door, as a double buggy doesn't fit through it. Is that bad Feng Shui? Do what I said earlier about still using your front door. Is it okay to have a mirror facing the entrance door to your apartment? So again, this is going back to like the mirrors in front of the window. Don't have a mirror if you can help it opposite your front door or opposite a window, especially your front door. Remember what I said about those new opportunities coming through? If you've got a mirror straight opposite, those opportunities are going to be bouncing out again. Any rituals before renovating or knocking the walls down? So I would, like I've sort of mentioned it before, speak to your home, tell it what's happening, say it's going to be for the greater good. You can also add some tourmaline and some selenite. So these are small bits of it here. So this one here is a tourmaline and this one here is a selenite. The tourmaline is like a sponge for negativity. They're quite good to have around your computer for EMF as well. And selenite is really cleansing. So you could have that where you are having the work done, and see if you can almost like separate the renovated areas from the living areas. So even like you get that brown paper, like put the brown paper up and just try and keep it as separate as possible. Do knives in the butler's pantry also need to be kept in a drawer? Yeah, so don't have any sharp knives out. They're a weapon, like they're sharp and they're going to be bringing this sharp energy into your home, so don't have them out. When the south is fire, do you use that element or do you use wood and earth colours? I'm unsure of colours. So in my book, I go into these colours and these areas quite in depth. This is just a guide because this is like, there's two levels of Feng Shui. You've got this, okay, one rule for everybody. Let's see if that works. Or you've got the flying stars Feng Shui, which is what I practice. This is what you book with me with the analysis, where we find out exactly what is happening in your home, and because of that we then add those specific remedies. So have a read through my book if you want to have a look at that, like one rule for all. It might work, it might not, but it's, you know, it might be worth a try if you're not ready to have an analysis. The neighbours of a new house don't seem pleasant. Anything we could do before we move in? Just go in, try not to make it a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like sometimes when you move in, people are like, you know, this is my land and you're moving into our neighbourhood, and they sort of try and put a stamp on it a little bit, and then after a while they're actually okay. So I would just go, do you know what, give them the benefit of the doubt, they might be okay, let's just see how things go. Are there any places in the home that spiky plants can live? No, sorry, they bring a sharp energy. Is having your bed underneath a window really bad? Like, we're all going to have places where, you know, that aren't great Feng Shui, and in our old home we did have like a big window above it. What it can do is give you a feeling that you aren't being supported. So just making sure then you've got a really solid headboard or solid something behind you, and that is just going to give you that feeling of being held a little bit more. Did you find your Wi-Fi improved after you put in your remedies? Yes, yes it did. Like dodgy Wi-Fi is a real, because if you think the Wi-Fi is trying to get around the house just like the energy is, so if the Wi-Fi can't get around, it's a real teller as to what the energy is doing as well. I'm not sure if that's the right phrase, a real teller. It's probably not, it's definitely not the right phrase, but you know what I mean. If you can't place a work desk in the command position in the north, is it bad? I'm facing the northeast at the minute. No, so I think the command position is the most important thing if you can. Doesn't matter if you're north, northeast, wherever you are. Like, so for me, I've got my desk against a solid wall. This gives me this feeling that I've got a solidarity behind me. I don't have anything physical or metaphorical that's going to jump over my shoulders and surprise me. If you can't sit in the command position, you can put something reflective on your desk, something mirrored, whether that is an actual mirror, like a makeup mirror, whether that's a mirrored photo frame, for example, something that is going to be, you're going to be able to see what is behind you, and that will really help. You talk about keeping the sink clean, but is it bad to leave a dish in to soak overnight? Look, the odd time is going to be fine, but just don't get into this cycle of leaving dishes in the sink overnight, because you want the energy to be able to just go. You don't want that dirty energy in the house. Pre-Feng Shui, what made you start a wellness business? Do you think the experience helped with the Feng Shui flow? Yeah, it did. So my whole story was that I was a teacher for 10 years and I taught equine science. And with horses, you feed from the inside out. So if a horse's coat isn't very shiny, unlike people, you don't go, oh, well, I'll just get it a better shampoo and conditioner. You're like, what are you feeding it? If the energy of the horse isn't right, what are you feeding it? So it's all about gut health. And so gut health was this thing that I just spoke about all the time with horses. Then, at the time, my mum passed away from early onset Alzheimer's. And so there's a lot of research as well about gut health and microbiome and, you know, many diseases out there, mainly Alzheimer's. So this health business was very sort of vegan led. It was very gut health, and I was like, yeah, I can sell these products because like we do this in horses, so why aren't we doing it in humans? And that's what helped me sort of get over my fear of Instagram, because I started it in lockdown. Well, literally I started a business in February 2020. So literally a month later, the world shut down and I had to learn how to do it online. Now in that business, that's where I was like banging my head against a brick wall. I tried to do it for, I don't know, it was about 9 months, something like that. And it wasn't shifting. And that's when Feng Shui came into my life. So I always think that, everything is a building block. You're always working towards something. And I definitely learned a lot in that time before Feng Shui came into my life. Is there a specific day I should clean my front door and entrance, please? No, just whenever you can. My bins sit at the front of my house, in front of the garage door. Will this affect my wealth? If you can put your bins into bin storage, that would be great. You don't want them like right in front of your front door. That's probably the worst place. I'm on strike, hoping hubby will see and help. Will this affect my home? Ask your home to help you find a way to get more help. So rather than that negative, and don't get me wrong, I get it. When you've had enough and you're like, right, I'm on strike, I'm not doing anything, but you're waiting for somebody else to pick up those cues, and those people may not pick up those cues that you've had enough. So instead, ask your home for help as to how you can get more help in the home. And it may just drive you to have that conversation in terms of, right, and to have that open communication in your home and go, right, I need help. Please, can you do this job and this job? Because some people need it written down, that they don't see that a job needs to be done unless they have explicit rules given to them that they are now in charge of it. So that might be the way to go around it. Does the strength of colour affect how strong the energy is? Bright tones versus muted tones? Yep, definitely. So like a soft pink wouldn't be as fiery. So like if you look at this pen, well, you can't listen to this on the podcast. I've got like a pale pink pen with like a hot pink lid. And you can see the difference in that. So they're both fire colours, but the soft pink doesn't have as much energy to it as the hot pink. So yes, different colours have different impacts on them. Hi Kimberly, I live on a static caravan. Is this okay for Feng Shui? Thank you. Yes, totally. You may find though, when homes are on the ground, that you may not feel supported. And actually I've worked with a few people that live on like mobile homes and static homes, because they just don't feel that grounded. So you can still apply Feng Shui principles to it, absolutely, as you would do a normal home. We are redoing our upstairs bathroom in the northwest area. What colour should we avoid? So ideally, you would try and avoid blues in the bathroom because it's already a very water-heavy room. So adding more blues, although water can bring flow, too much water may make you feel that like there is too much flow in the home, like things don't actually stick. They come and go without you wanting to. So any other tones, I would try and avoid blue. Like green is lovely, like sage green is a beautiful colour, but blue is what I would avoid. How do you balance religious beliefs and Feng Shui? I don't think they overlap at all. Feng Shui isn't a religion. It's just understanding energy. And I think like all religions, it's actually really similar. You put good energy out there in order to receive good energy, which is what a lot of religions are as well. How can Feng Shui help with anxiety? My anxiety changed massively when we changed the energy in your home, because if you think different frequencies of energies bring different feelings. So if the energy in your home is up here, you are going to feel up here as well. As soon as you ground it, you also feel much more grounded. I'm a palliative, I think, CNS, palliative, and must be nurse of some sort, sorry, in the community. How can I restore my daily energy depletion? So I know somebody who works, she's like a counsellor, and she wears a tourmaline necklace, which is like a black necklace. And so she wears it in the day. She keeps it only for work, so she wears it for work. And she rinses it off every day. So it's almost like it's this protection of energy that protects you. You can even have like it in your pocket, for example, but just like rinse it before you get home, or maybe just put it outside every night before you come in and then take it to work the next day. And they're a really nice protector of energy. Analysis done, fireplace in the northeast, no photos, mirrors. What can I add for decoration, please? You can still add pictures, you can add candles, you can have a mirror above the fireplace. That's totally fine as long as it isn't opposite a window. But if you're stuck, you've had the analysis with me, please feel free to email me and I can help you. The garden patio is renovated and the lounge painted. Anything required to do with the renovation? I think that question's missed off, sorry. How do you manifest money if you feel in a state of lack? This is what the Lionsgate portal course is all going to be about. So please join us. August the 4th, it starts. What's the most impactful thing for you when you first started your business? I think the biggest thing for me, I've always said, was investing in my branding. And I didn't have the money to invest. I had to sell some handbags to have a website built. But for me, I was trying to break into a market that was seen as quite a spiritual market, and I knew that my clients were like me and didn't necessarily have a spiritual background, so I wanted my brand to look as normal as possible. In fact, my instructions to the branding team when we were talking, not instructions, that's the wrong way of saying it, but I said I wanted to be like the John Lewis of Feng Shui. I wanted to be this normal brand, and so therefore, when I put myself out there, that people could see a really good website. When they wanted to pay, it was all professionally set up. So for me, it was having really good branding and a website. Home is not good for people, and we've had a bad run of health. When we put the elements in, should this help? So yes, when you put the elements in, it will all help. When you put all the remedies in, when you've had an analysis with me. So homes can either be good or bad for people, good or bad for money. And then underneath that, I mean, Feng Shui is so positive, isn't it? Underneath that, we have all of this energy running through the home. But the remedies will help. Now, sometimes when you put them in, it can almost stir up the energy a little bit because it's just going through that energy. It's literally sifting through everything. So sometimes it can feel like it's bubbling a little bit, but after that, it will settle down. Rental apartment, 3 years old, but there's cracks all over, specifically in the north and northwest, but generally all over, and what to do. So if you're renting, I mean, you could have a word with your landlord and see if they will cover them up. If you've been there for 3 years, there's no harm in asking. And also ask your apartment to help you. So be like, I want to tell the landlord about this, help me get you fixed, because you know your home, your apartment won't want to feel that way as well. If there's nothing that you can do about it, then see if you can put something on the wall that just like covers it up a little bit. I have a big mirror in the bedroom that faces the door into the hallway. Is this okay? It's fine, but it may just be speeding up the energy in your bedroom and therefore impacting your sleep. So that's the only thing. Mirrors in the bedroom can impact your sleep. Oh, this is nice. You're great. Thank you. I've just discovered your page and it's sunshine. Thank you. That's so kind of you. Like, I try and share everything. Believe me, my life isn't always sunshine at all, but I try and make the most of it. And I try and share it so that other people have the inspiration to change the energy in the home, because it literally changed my life. How can I calm my home to support a family crisis? So this is where the analysis will come in, and just, it's like the big guns coming in and just changing the energy in the home. Otherwise, what you just need to do is really make sure you've got this out with the old and in with the new energy. So the clean sheets as much as you can, the vacuuming, mopping the windows, opening the windows, letting the good energy in, out with the old. Decluttering is so powerful, because if you're going through a time of stress in your home, then if the energy can't move around, then that stress isn't going to be able to leave. So that's really important, and I hope you're all okay. Hubby's bedside cabinet is in the centre. Is it okay for him to keep medication in his drawer? Yeah, it's not worth the argument. Like, if he keeps it in there, he keeps it in there, it's totally fine. Not Feng Shui, but I love your glasses. Where are they from? Thank you. So my optician is called Parker Hamilton. funny enough, I've got it on here, Parker Hamilton, and they're in Pacific Fair in Australia, and it is their own brand of glasses, and I love them, so thank you. Holiday booking paperwork, where is best to keep? Anywhere. There's nothing bad about it, so that's totally fine. It's only if something's got like a bit of a sharper energy, like bills or invoices or like insurance claims, that sort of thing, that I'd be a bit careful about it. Want to Feng Shui my house, where is the best place to start? So below I will have all of my links in there, and this is like understanding the 9 areas of the home, where they are and the things that you can do in there. So there's 3 things in each of these areas. You want to declutter. You want the energy to be able to move around. You want to check for broken things. We've gone through both of those things already in today's, I don't know, are we an episode? Are we podcast? I don't know what we are. And then thirdly, making sure that you've got something in that area that represents that area of your life if you can. So in the Southwest, love and romance. In the Southeast, have something that represents wealth to you. So really using your home and the energy in it to manifest what's coming into your life. But I actually say the Lionsgate portal is also an amazing place to start, because we're going to be introducing this Feng Shui into it really nicely as well. Whether you've been hanging out with me for however many years, you've had an analysis, or if you're brand new, we can all do it. How is my holiday house different from my everyday home? I'm not quite sure what you mean about that. I'll take my understanding from that question. So each house, depending on when it was built and where it sits geographically, will have its own energy. So it's a bit like when you have your own astrology. Your date of birth and where you were born impacts some of the energy that you have, and that's the same with each house as well. So that's why all homes have different energy. Our back door is our main door. Our main door for coming and going. Do I clean and open that door, or the front? The front, so we've already gone through that. Can I plug in a seashell lamp be placed in the northwest if it's a spiky shell? I don't know if you can hear my dog just moaning in the background, sorry there. I would, a bit like what we said at the beginning about having a shell, and if it's spiky, I'd probably avoid it. If you love it, you love it, but just see. Where do I start with putting yourself first? My husband is super successful and my kids are finishing school or starting secondary school. Where do you start with knowing what you want to do next? I think this can be hard, but it's finding your passion. What do you like doing? And that might be a hobby. It might be going for a walk every day. Like when we moved here, I knew no one, and I didn't want to start playing tennis again. I literally went for a walk every day and I listened to podcasts, and I just started like building myself up again, almost from scratch in a way. And so just make time for yourself. And especially when you've had a role in the house of giving all the time, sometimes we've forgotten how and what it's like to take. So like book a trip with your husband. Like book a weekend away somewhere, do something the 2 of you, like have a date night, like start getting that purpose back in your home. And that's really important. But you know, sometimes you don't know what you want to do, and that's totally fine. It will come to you. And if you use the affirmations like I am open to all the opportunities that bring me health, wealth, success and happiness, you never know what's going to come through, literally through the front door. Hi Kimberly, do you journal and practice gratitude? I don't journal. I'm not very good at journaling. I do obviously journal in the Calm and Happy You. So this is my very scruffy book. It's filthy because I use it so often. So I do make notes in that. However, on a daily basis, I'm more of a visual person than a written person, but I do practice gratitude. I do it in the shower. 3 things I'm grateful for today, and it can be the most random things. How can I change my money mindset? There are things are tight at the moment, but I feel like I am being too frugal, and then I'm telling the universe I deserve this. So I would, the Lionsgate portal course, we are doing money mindset in there, because it's about knowing deep down that you deserve more, and you're not pushing it away because of the way that you view money and success. Do I keep or move my late dad's photo holding my newborn in the northwest? Put it wherever. If you love him, you love that picture, then put it wherever brings you joy and happiness. Tips for the career area of the house, starting out as self-employed in the healing profession. So in my book, there is a whole section on jobs and careers and what you can do. But one of the biggest things is like just setting up your desk, maybe having some crystals that you like in there. I always have a nice candle or some nice incense, making sure your screensaver like brings you positivity. So every time you log on, like you love it. I listen to music that I find motivating as well. So, but there's a great chapter in the book all about this. Salt lamp in the north and candle holder in the west. Is this okay? Life is hectic, so I don't mind the slowing down. It still brings heaviness. I wouldn't have them. Manifesting with the Lionsgate portal course, can it be broad like opportunities for success? Totally. Like throughout the course, we are going to get closer and closer and closer to what it is that you want, but it can just be broad. It can be totally broad. I work on quite broad manifestations. So that's what the course is about. Tips for analysis clients. Ask for your original DA plans with the local council for free. Okay, so this is, sorry, I've just lost that question. So yes, so we do need your house plans when we do an analysis. So I would see what you can get online, and if not, then you can draw them. But if you're having trouble or difficulty getting hold of them, then email me and I can send you some examples of hand-drawn floor plans. My north area is my hall, cupboard and wardrobe. Do I just keep them both tidy? Help. Yes, and it will be more than that. So if you divide your floor plan into 9 different areas, it will be more than just a corner or more than just a little narrow area. So it will be wider than that. But yes, absolutely just keeping them as decluttered and as motivational as possible. And then finally, a lovely comment. It says, you're amazing. So thank you. I think you are all amazing as well. I hope you enjoyed my debut Q&A on YouTube, and I will see you next week. So much love.